Good morning, 4A and 4B students. Today we're going to go ahead and start with our new math lesson for today. It is called Solving Multiplication and Division Equations. As you know, we've been talking about equations for the past week, and now we're going to elaborate a little bit more as to how we can incorporate them into multiplication and division. So our objective for today is Objective TEKS 4.5. The student applies mathematical process standards to develop concepts of expressions and equations. So it's similar to the one we have discussed in the previous days, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and start. There is no new language of the discipline today. And we're going to go ahead and jump into problem of the day, okay? So our first problem of the day, we have about 3 of them so we can see it in different scenarios. Our first problem is we're going to use number sense, okay? Our basic facts, multiplication facts, and all of that. So our equation for today is 3 times m equals 60, okay? What do we call a letter in an equation? What do we call a letter? What do we call this right here? If you said variable, you are correct, okay? This is our variable. And again, if you don't remember what a variable is, we can go back to our previous lessons and we can define what a variable is. Again, a variable is a letter used to help find the answer to an equation. It is the missing variable, the missing number. So in this case, we have 3 times m equals 60. So our m is our variable. That is the one we're trying to see. We're like, okay, what can we multiply times 3? And we get 60. Okay, so there's several ways we can go about this. Let's go ahead and think of our basic multiplication facts, right? So we have 3 times m equals 60. So if I'm multiplying, I can think about the opposite, right? Because there's our facts families. We can start thinking about the fact families, right? So if I'm multiplying, what can I use? What's the opposite of multiplication? Well, it's division. So a hint that we're going to give today when solving these type of equations is to think about fact families and the opposite equation. Okay? So, fact families wise, we know that if we're multiplying, the opposite of multiplication is division. So I will use what I have provided to find my answer. Okay? So now, let's go ahead and check it out and see. So I have 60 and 3. So I know my total is 60. That could be what in my division. So if we're going to do the opposite of it, I think I spelled opposite wrong right there. I'm going to go double check. Okay, Google. How do you spell opposite?
Opposite is spelled O-P-P-O-S-I-T-E.
Okay, I spelled it wrong up here. My bad, class. You know, I'm getting old and age affects me. Ha 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 ha. Just kidding. I am old though. So I knew I wrote it wrong somewhere. I apologize for that mistake right there. Okay, back to it. So opposite, the opposite equation, excuse me, would be in this fact division. Okay? So if I know my total in my multiplication, if I know my total becomes my what in division? If you said divisor, you are not correct. What about my dividend? Remember, the dividend is a number inside the little house, and that's the total, right? So my total out here becomes my dividend. Now, what do you think will be my divisor? If you mentioned 3, you are correct. 3 is my divisor, okay? And where in the world will I find m? Well, m will become my quotient. So whatever my answer is, that will be m. So let's see. 3 can go into 6 how many times? 2 times. 2, we have our invisible multiplication symbol right there. 2 times 3 is 6. We subtract it. 6 minus 6 is 0. Am I done? No, I still have one more number to drop, so I will drop the 0. 3 goes into 0 how many times? 0 times. 0 times 3 is 0. And we subtract that, and obviously 0 minus 0 is 0. Can I drop anything else? Then no. My answer, or my quotient, will be 20. So in this case, m will be 20. So now let's go check. Let's go check that it is correct. So we're gonna, if we know that m is 20, we're just simply gonna input it there, right there. So 3 times, what is m? M is 20, equals 60. Let's make sure. 3 times 20 is, well, 60. And we have 60. So my answer is correct. Okay, so I can check it off because both numbers equal the same thing. So m is 20. Okay, if you want to do the standard algorithm way to check it out, we can also do that. Start with your ones, make sure they're aligned. 0 times 3 is 0. Then go with your tens. 2 times 3 is 6. And we get 60. Okay, so that's the first problem. Okay, now let's check the following one over here. Let's say I have, so a fun thing about equations, let me tell you right here, that you can flip the equation, okay? So sometimes we will be able to see the answer first, okay? So it's totally fine if you see them flipped. We have 600 equals 1,200 divided by x. Okay, so sometimes we can see them flip where we can see the answer first and then the equation. That is totally fine. No need to worry. Okay, we can also use equations like this. So now, we had said we're going to work with fact families and we need to think opposite. So if I'm multiplying here, if I'm dividing here, right, that's my operation, I'm going to multiply. So my opposite equation, let's do it over here. My opposite equation is multiplication. So now, I know that 600, according to the problem we did before, 600 is my quotient, that's my answer, right? So I'm going to multiply. X times something to get 1,200. Okay? X times... No, my bad. We're going to multiply x times 600 to get 1,200. There we go. My mistake. So again, our dividend is 1,200. Our divisor is x. And our answer or quotient is 600. So if I know my answer, right, so it's 600 times what can give me 1,200. So here is where we're going to start playing with our fact or with our background knowledge of what we know of multiplication. So if our answer ends with 2 zeros, it means that one of these two numbers or both numbers need to have they need to have 2 zeros, right? So this one has them. So we know that this x will be a single digit number. Okay? Will be a single digit number. Let's look at our multiples of 6 then. Because if I can scratch off the zeros, I am left with 6. But if I scratch the zeros here, what needs to happen over here? I need to go ahead and scratch off the zeros as well. So now we're left off with an equation of x times 6 equals 12. Well, that's easier. If we know our multiples of 6, we can see that 6 times what gives me 12? Well, obviously, 2 times 6 gives you 12. So does that mean I'm done? Well, let's not forget. Let's go ahead and add those zeros we took away. So now we have 2 times 600 equals 1,200. So what does x equal? X in this case will equal to 2. Well, let's go check it out. Let's go ahead and see. So I know my divisor is 1,200. Okay. I'm sorry, my dividend is 1,200. My divisor is x, which we know it's 2 already. And we should get 600 as an answer. So let's go check it out. Can 2 fit into 1? No, that's 0. Okay, 0 times 2 is 0. Subtracting it, we get 1. We bring down the 2. So now we have 12. 2 goes into 12 how many times? 6 times. So 6 times 2 is 12. We get 0 from there. Bring down the other 0. 2 goes into 0 0 times. 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract that. Bring the final 0 down. We know it's 0 again. 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract that, we get 0. And we're done. Our answer is 600, and our answer is 600 over here. Okay? So in order to solve for the missing equation, the missing variable, we need to make sure to solve for the opposite first, the opposite equation. That way we can find what the missing variable is. Okay? So now let's go ahead and try a addition one. I'm going to go ahead and move my notes over here. Let's try an addition problem. Oh, I'm sorry, not addition. This is multiplication and division. So let's try another multiplication. What do you guys think? Let's make it... let's make it 7 times p equals 70. Okay, so I'm trying to solve for p. Let's go ahead and do the opposite. So we're going to divide. We know that we're going to do the opposite. So we can divide. So in this case, we have 70 as our dividend, 7 as our divisor, and we get to dividing. 7 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 7 is 7. We subtract that. 7 minus 7 is 0. We bring down that 0. 7 goes into 0 0 times. 0 times 7 is 0. Subtracting that, we get 0. So what is our quotient? That is our answer. So in this case, 10 equals p. So let's go try it out. 7 times 10 equals 70. So obviously, by knowing our multiples of 7, we can guarantee that this is the correct answer. So in this case, p equals 10. Okay? So again, this will involve a lot of background knowledge, a lot of multiplication facts. Okay? And of course, this one we really didn't need to do the division, but to show of work purposes, I showed you the opposite way so we can go ahead and find that answer. Okay? So again, guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know, and we'll be here. I'll be here to help you out. Thank you so much, and have a great day, guys.